Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm Kevin Briggs. I'm one of the co-founders of Texas State Peru. And as you may know or may not know, we lead teams of surgeons down to Peru every summer to take care of poor folks who can't afford surgical care themselves. And we bring all sorts of volunteers down with us on our missions. We see about 300 patients a week, do about 25 or 30 surgeries a week. We bring doctors and nurses and non-clinical volunteers along with us. An important part of what we bring are pre-med students or pre-health students to do clinical job shadowing with us down in Peru. And one of those students is Mackenzie Story, who's a pre-med student from Auburn University. Mackenzie, welcome to our little program.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So about how much time did you spend in the clinic doing clinical work?
So, doing clinical work, we were there usually from honestly 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the afternoon. And so, during then, I was able to see a lot of we were doing clinical work with the physicians, but also OR work, getting the OR prep during the first couple of days. And then, once the first or second day in the clinic, the second day mostly, we're in and out of the OR and really just primarily getting as many surgeries done as possible. So we were there for a good bit of time.
Yeah. Do you remember any of the types of cases that you got to see?
So one of the cases I got to see and actually scrub in for was a hysterectomy that was actually supposed to be just a what is it called? Oh, I know. Sorry. It was a hello. It was an anterior pair that actually became or formed into evolved into a hysterectomy. And it was with one of the physicians that Dr. Cindy that I was scrubbing in for and scrubbing in with. So I was standing in
Wow.
there and I was only anticipating it to be only an anterior pair, but it was actually really cool because I got to see how a physician in real time was able to multitask and not only multitask, but evolve and be able to adapt to her certain situations or what was going on to actually effectively help this patient who was she was a mother who had a lot of babies and a lot of kids, and it just ended up having to be a hysterectomy. So it was really cool.
Yeah. Cindy's the best. I don't know if you know this,
Yeah,
but
she is.
she delivered my daughter via emergency C-section.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's amazing. Yeah.
so do you remember any of the other or can you talk about some of the other clinical activities you did? I know we rotate you into the instruments, doing orderly work.
Mhm.
Uh,
Sorry.
yeah, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So some of the clinical work that when we were in the OR, I was with either Dr. Ted or Dr. Cindy. Whenever they were in the OR, I was with them in the clinical, seeing multiple different patients, whether it was a pap smear or a clinical checkup, just in and out with regular procedures. But honestly, just how different globally and from the United States and from Peru and how different, I guess you could say, like, how the physicians in the United States being put into a global setting, being able to experience them having to adapt and work through the different or not environmental, but the cultural basis
Mhm.
of the limited resources that they have in Peru and being able to see that how they adapt to the certain resources that they do have and they don't have compared to how we have it in the US. It
Yeah.
was very interesting and aspiring to also see how they're able to take their education here in the US and do as much as they possibly can to help the people in Peru, even despite the limited resources that they're given.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
truly, honestly, so amazing.
Yeah. I wish, frankly, that we could do more surgeries for a lot of the patients we see.
Mhm.
The reality is sometimes it's just too risky.
Yeah.
And we're not there to take risks or
Mhm.
chance anybody. We are straight down the middle of the fairway and we don't play for morale,
Mhm.
to use a terrible golf metaphor. So were there were there moments on the trip that really solidified your passion for healthcare?
Yes. So one of them, before I joined, or I was thinking of joining the program and taking this amazing opportunity, I honestly was feeling a little bit burnout, especially with school. Ever since I graduated high school, I have constantly been doing summer school and constantly doing some type of schoolwork and never really had a break to really see and experience and be immersed into what the medical field is. And I think as a pre med, when you're going to apply to medical school and you're constantly working like to get the good grades and get a good MCAT score, I think it's really sometimes deteriorating to your confidence and your motivation to
Yeah.
really just continue to do well. And you're not really, sometimes you get bottled up and you feel a setback a little bit when you're not being able to experience truthfully what your career is going to be like.
Yeah.
And so I think primarily I was just looking for something, like I said, that will be able to challenge me and put me in something that would actually make me realize, okay, not necessarily, I always knew I wanted to go into medicine, but more of seeing it to be able to actually be like, bring me back towards, okay, I'm doing this, like I can. And so right before, I think we were heading on to get on the train to Machu Picchu.
Uh-huh.
And Dr. Ted, one of the surgeons after leaving the clinic, in which he had told me that the future of medicine needed doctors like me. And in that moment, I felt a deep sense of reassurance of and motivation as a challenging as the pre-med path can be. It really made me feel that the dream of me becoming a physician didn't feel as distant with the setbacks and self-doubt that even through his words and through him, not only me shadowing him and learning from him, he also had saw me through my help with him in different ORs and in the different procedures that we were doing, that he really truthfully believed that even despite, or sorry, he truthfully did believe that through his words that, oh my gosh, sorry. Hearing those words from someone who had already walked this path that I'm now enduring, it truthfully gave me confidence to keep on pushing forward.
So that's good to hear. Ted is a sweetheart of a guy. He really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But he doesn't throw compliments out like that. He doesn't. Okay.
Mhm.
He and I spoke, and this is something we can't prove, but I think he and Cindy and Margot, the other doctors, they all agree we're making better doctors.
Mhm.
Can't prove that, obviously, but I think we are.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me ask you this. Was it what you expected when you went down there?
I honestly no. Like, it wasn't anything I was really expecting at all. I've traveled outside the country, but being in Peru and be doing something that I want that will be my future career, I wasn't expecting to learn as much as I did. I knew I was going to learn and shadow, but I didn't understand how much of an impact it would cause me to feel
Yeah.
during and after. I mean, I still look back to that trip now, and I think even when I'm studying and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so tired," and just experiencing finals week or midterms, and I even look back to that trip and I think, "Wow," like, it's just truthfully amazing to be able to learn and experience and even tell people what I did and what I learned from it.
That's wonderful to hear. I got one final question and we'll wrap up. Do you have any advice for other students that are considering doing a clinical job shadowing or medical missions? You got any advice for them?
I would definitely say if you are going to a program like Texas State Peru, and you should go to a program like Texas State Peru, that fully immerse yourself and take advantage of this opportunity. I know that whenever I was on the trip, I was able to talk to different physicians as well as anesthesiologists and learn from different people who I know that I will be working with in my future career, such as scrub techs and nurses. I was able to talk to them and gain more of an experience of not only their roles in the OR, but also their roles in healthcare and how their impact and like their journey. And I was able to even talk to the doctors and the nurses and form relationships with them outside of the clinic and be able to know more about them personally. And so being able to do that and learn from them, not only from a healthcare position, but a personal experience and connection, I would just definitely say to take as much take hold of this opportunity as much as you possibly can, because you're only there for a week. I know that for me personally, I really took hold of where I was, and I took advantage as much as possible to make those connections, learn as much as possible from their personal experience before being a physician and even during, and asking them advice about my application process and even advice about what to do when I am a physician one day.
It was an absolute treat to have you as part of the team down there.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Everybody we've spoken to just really appreciates the work that you did and the
Oh,
rest
thank
of the
you.
students did, that the energy level was even higher than it usually is. It was just a it was just a delight to have you guys a part of things. So thank you again for doing this. And folks, if y'all are interested in learning more about Texas Day Peru, go to texasdayperu.org. Uh, I don't think I can make that appear on the screen. Yes, I can. How about that? Any rate, Mackenzie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin.